Welcome guys, how you doing? Good evening everyone. Hey Sully, hey Chris, welcome. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for that sub there. Give you a ball more Sully. Have you guys been? Hope you had a good New Year and Christmas. Yeah, welcome everyone to another stream. So last stream we did some occlusion buffer stuff. So we got it, we made it quick and we made a little ray tracer that renders the scene at half resolution, and renders that, and only renders out the depth. So we've just got a very silly sort of like thing here, and yeah, there's graphical glitches, but we're fixing these later on. It's to do with the depth, the way the sorting thing works. But yeah, so right now it costs 0.6 milliseconds to do the whole occlusion buffer. If we see the occlusion texture, this is what we're outputting. Half resolution. Yes, it's half the main resolution, which is up here. And we've got 11 MIPS. But we need to produce a full MIP chain. Right now, as you can tell, isn't a full MIP chain here, is there? Right. But yeah, I think this broke. This used to be really on point. We've got to fix that. It used to be great. It's just weird what's going on. Do you have any pets? No, I don't have any pets. The aim is to have children. For now. Although my parents have pets. When I used to live around there, have dogs and stuff. And they're obviously a lot of fun. Just taking them out for walks. But yeah, pets are just an extra cost. Cannot afford in the process of making children. So that's where I'm at the moment. Maybe later on. How about you, Sully? You got any pets? I assume you got some cats, right? So, yeah. So the thing we're working on next is getting the downsampling working to all the different MIP levels, and then this way, when we want to check something's occluded, we can just find the MIP level. We find the thing on the screen that we want to see if it is occluded or not. To get the bounding box of the object we want to find, and then find the MIP level. Sorry, and see if it is occluded or not. Find the MIP level where that thing is like 2 pixels big. Probably be something like 5 or whatever. And then you sample the 2 pixels, take the max, and then compare the depth. And then if it passes the depth test, it gets rendered. If it fails the depth test, then it doesn't bother getting rendered at all and just gets excluded from being rendering. So that should help with this future pass and make that quicker. And make the renderer just scale more. So if we resume the profiler. Now if we turn off the overlapping, Alt V. Yeah, so if we turn off the overlapping, it actually brings it down by another 0.05 milliseconds. So that's quite nice. So I put a bunch of explicit pipelines in to make it so that when we measure these individual shader times, they don't overlap with other shader work. So by turning that on, it doesn't put the barriers in, so therefore there'll be less weighting. That's happening. So yeah, it's pretty nice. So it's good. So before we do the downsampling, let's go ahead and fix that bug in the texture viewer, because it would be nice if it behaved, you know, if we just had a good experience when trying to debug this stuff. So I think it's in GPU.c, and we should look for texture viewer. So I think it's in this code here, UI, this one. So there's something to do when we change the MIP. Here. So this is a bit off for some reason. I don't know why it is. It was alright before, I think. And we thought it could be to do with the DPI maybe. But we changed the DPI and that didn't fix it, I think. I don't know now. Let's monkey about with the the DPI and just see if it's a UI in it. Well, frame start, I think it's in. Every frame we check the operating system for the DPI. Maybe it's a bit too frequent. And then we figure out the scaling based on the base DPI and what the current DPI is. So we just hardcode that to 1, everything's going to look very small on a 4K screen. And we'll just see, is that same behavior present? So I select the occlusion texture, change the MIP level. Yeah, the same behavior is present, right? Seems like it's not offsetting. But then I get to 4. Oh, okay. 5. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's something to do with the DPI as well, because I remember it was offsetting really weirdly. That really offset a bit weirdly there. Anyway. Maybe it's not to do with the DPI. Right, so let's just analyze this code and see what the problem is. Hey, Bassandra, how you doing, sir? Hey, Spectre of Starman, welcome. How you guys doing? My roommate has a nice cat. I kind of want to train it to crap in the toilet. I see you have lots of spare time on your hands, Sully. Hey, Perry, how's it going? How are you? Happy New Year to you too. Thank you so much, sir. How's it going? Happy New Year, Bassandra. Appreciate it. What you guys been up to? You guys having a good time off? You guys spending it wisely then, Sully? So if we change the MIP, we get the differences between the MIPs. Now, these are both U32s, right? Yeah, so let's just cast it to sign just in case I decide to change the data types or something and then I'll break this code. So you get MIP diff. Now, I'm just changing the scale. So I get the scale and the offset in the texture viewer. And then I get the old scale by dereferencing. Oh yeah, because it could be to the global scale, the view scale, right? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so for screenshots, we synchronize. We I think have a thing called a global scale. So when we sort of pan and zoom a screenshot, and we change tab to the other screenshot, it stays the same. Whereas individual textures usually have their own scales and offsets and stuff when it comes to this zooming thing. It's just a nice thing for the screenshot viewer to have them all on the same, follow the same thing, so you can look at individual pixels and switch really and compare stuff, which is cool. So am I missing? Yeah, so we changed the scale, right? That seemed okay. I didn't. It seemed like nothing was. Oh, this is a bit weird, isn't it? Oh yeah, the MIP diff. So 1 shift left 1. That'll be 2. Yeah, so you just times it by 2, right? So if you change by 1 MIP, right? Gotcha. And then divide, right? Makes sense. And do a bit of a clamp. Just cool. Now, right, so I'm a little bit weirded out because I could have swore. Is this code even running? Because it seemed like the scale, it wasn't even scaling anything when we changed the MIP. So we just put a breakpoint in there, it will crash the program if it triggers. Change the MIP. Right, okay, we hit the breakpoint. Fair enough. Right, so the next thing I guess is like what am I doing this for? Old scale, DRFU scale. I guess we'll just put an X in there or something. See what happens. Evergreens always reminds me of Barrack's theme from Xenoblade Chronicles. Right, I've never actually played that game. Well, I heard a lot about it. Yeah, this is Stone Rebel. Maybe they're inspired by it. They release stuff like every month or every 1 to 2 months. They got like release whole albums. Got tons of music on YouTube. It's pretty nice. Just some guitar. Yeah, so change the scale to 2. See, I don't think it's even changing that. It's just weird. So let me just comment out these guys. I'm free for work for 5 days and working on my graphics library playground. Cool, learning some stuff. Awesome. Hey, Gurren. How are you? Welcome to the stream, sir. How are you? Look at Barrack's some point of view. Blade Barracks. Is it Blade Barracks? Okay. Right, so if I don't offset the... Seems like it's not scaling. I wonder if I can be a bit funky with the scale and just... Yeah, something weird's going on. Is it always using the global scale? So let's do something a little bit weird. Let's multiply this by 4 or something. Just do something insane with this number just to see. Hey Ujilla, how you doing, sir? Yeah, I guess I can see some similarity with this music. Yeah, it was rather insane, wasn't it? So, what was it? So it seems like okay, it's getting applied and being used. Um, yes, if you're at scale of 1, I guess it might be to do with the offset or something that might be wrong. I don't know, let's get a feeling for the so when we change the MIP, that's not zoomed in well enough, is it? So maybe... But it seems like it's not doing anything with this. Because it's fitting like this, which means it's not really scaling it in. And it stays exactly there. Weird. Do I not do much today? Fair enough. Yeah, today I went to see the Sonic movie, Sonic 3. It's quite good. Had lots of good laughs in it. Story wasn't that bad. You know, it's the one with Shadow the Hedgehog in. So if you played Adventure 2, it's kind of like a take on that. Sonic Adventure 2 back in the day, that was the game. Had the most crazy story. It's really hard to follow this story, to be honest. I'm more of an Adventure Sonic than the Genesis one. So I played. So here in the UK, it was called the Mega Drive, and I played that since I was like 3. So my dad had a Mega Drive, and I played Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 actually, and probably 3. I think my problem with those side scroller ones is the I guess when I was younger, you know, you can't just sort of run fast through the level. Um, it doesn't feel as smooth. Whereas when you sort of run fast through a level in a 3D game, it just you can see more ahead, and yeah, just when you just sort of like those home in hits on the enemies and stuff, it just feels really awesome. But yeah, so I think I do prefer the 3D games of Sonic to the 2D ones, really. Not sure why. Yeah. I know quite a lot of people like the 2D ones. But yeah, just for the 3D. So I guess let's disable this code and just say do nothing. Then like, how does it respond then? For the good of the code base. Right, that's interesting, right? So at the top right is something really is weird. So the top right is where this center is of the previous one where it's at, right? And then, so all we have to do is, so yeah, when I scaled it as well, right, it actually made it fit. Like if you see here, right, okay, so I actually need to probably times it by 2 for some reason, but why is it only times it by 2? I could have swore this was working before, but what could have changed? How's this used? Um, good old Tim. I don't know what Tim's doing there. Right, so see this scaling is working just fine. This code is. So the center of the rectangle plus the offset. And the view half dims. Texture dims. Right. Oh, what's this going on here? Interesting. Right. The texture dims is already counting the MIP. Yeah. Right, that's okay. Let's times this by 2 and see what happens. Sonic Adventure games were pretty far off with their interesting passive cartoonish and realism. Sonic Heroes was fun too. Yeah, I played Sonic Heroes. I didn't. It was interesting. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as Adventure. I don't know what it was about it. Yeah, I didn't play Adventure until later on in my life. I played Adventure 2. That's just the one I had. And when I went back and played, because it was back in the days of, you got to nag your parents for a game. There's only so many points you've got. Oh, that just made it. Interesting. I didn't even trigger it. Whoops. Yeah, so, and when I played Adventure 1, and it was quite different. Right. Is that the appropriate zoom? I think that was the appropriate zoom. So I think we're not offsetting correctly now. It seems to be offset from the center if I'm understanding the visualization correctly, right? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I need to move it back and then do the scaling. And then something like that, I guess. Wait, but yeah, I already do that. Move it back. Does it zoom around with the mouses as well? I forgot how my code works. No, it just zooms in the center of the screen. Radio. Yes, that's alright. It's just got offset by half, I guess. Yeah, so it kept it the same size. That's good. It's just the offset's wrong now. They didn't keep it the same size there, though, did it? Hmm. Yeah, something's really off. Sometimes it doesn't quit for some reason. You have to kill it. But yeah, this used to work fine. Pretty sure it did. Maybe I might fix this some other time. I think my head's not in the space to fix this problem. It would just take longer than it would need to. I'll do it off stream, I think. Yeah, I gotta think about it a bit more. Right, I guess let's go ahead and sort out that downsampler thing. So we've got our MIP. We've got a full MIP chain of an occlusion texture. We rendered at half resolution the depth into the highest MIP. We need to downsample a full MIP chain. So there is a AMD open source thing called single downsampler, single pass downsampler. So we could look at using this basically. It's 1.1, there's a 2.2 here. Yeah, we should look into this. So the good thing about this one is rather than doing, if you got to downsample 12 times, rather than doing 12 dispatches each with a barrier in between, and therefore you have more, you won't utilize all the compute units well, because the compute units will have to come to a halt before the next compute shader can actually run. Whereas with this, then it's actually got to like launch the next compute shader and load it in, and that there's a little bit of time in there as well wasted. Whereas with this, it does it all in a single compute dispatch. So we can read a little bit of how it works. Then we'll basically try and port the code over to the HCC compiler and get this running. So it's also heavily optimized for AMD hardware. So it should also be quite good on NVIDIA as well, compared to just doing the naive approach. So the single pass downsampler downsamples the input texture with a user-defined 2x2 kernel using LDS memory or intermediate storage. Optionally, wave operations can be used to share data between threads as additional optimization. Awesome. So already it does some caching there. It doesn't have to reread it from. It reads it from like an L1 or L0. Yeah, it's like an L0 cache. Something like that. It's like an L1 cache. And then this one shares it between like an L0 cache, I guess. You know, the same VGPRs and that. So that's already like good optimization there that we don't have to do. A single thread group downsamples a 64 squared tile of an input texture to 1 by 1. Afterwards, a global atomic counter is incremented. The thread group will then check the global atomic. If it's equal to the number of tiles, it processes the last tile as before, computing the last 6 MIP levels of the input texture. Awesome. Yeah, I think this supports up to 12. This way it's possible to reduce a 4K squared texture to 1 by 1 in a single dispatch, which would be pretty nice. Happy New Year, Lupo. How are you doing, sir? Yeah, it's getting to the point where I need to do a trim. Ever seen Hot Fuzz? Yeah, a long time ago though. It's been a while since. Yeah, should probably give it a trim. I've definitely got a while to my haircut, I think. Yeah, maybe do a trim. Trim of the beard. Right, so input texture is a 2D texture or 2D array. Resources, MIP levels need to be generated. Constant buffer, we don't have constant buffers, so we'll just change that code. We could probably stick it in the global buffer, or we could stick it part of the push constants. Maybe you got to see how big the data is. About how many MIP levels to generate? Yeah, probably just do push constants, right? Global atomic counter, so that can be the global buffer. Just chuck it in there. Initialize to 0. So there might have to be another compute shader which initializes that to 0. Yeah, that's a bit. Or maybe we can have different counters that you have to manually initialize to 0 somewhere. And yeah, we can have a play. Right. So this all, yeah, we can look at this later on when we try and implement it if we find any problems. So the algorithm structure. Single pass downsampler spawns a single thread group for every 64 squared tile of the input texture. Each tile is downsampled separately to 1 by 1. Interesting. Contributing, that's pretty cool. That's yeah, so I see the thread group memory. Contributing to MIP levels 1 to 6. MIP level 6 has every pixel computed from a different thread group. The remaining MIPs are computed by the last active thread group, right? Right, because it's so small basically, because it's like a 64 by 64, isn't it? Yeah. So it only needs one thread group. And each thread group has now downsampled its tile. It increases the atomic counter, checks if it's equal to number of tiles. Yep. Right. Yeah. That's good. Nice. Limitations. Single pass downsampler only supports a 2x2 kernel and min, max, or mean operations at each MIP level. In case of odd dimensions, right, which we currently have, the last row or column will be omitted. A resolution of 7x4 produces a MIP level of 3x2 with values from the 6x4 region. The 7th row is ignored. Right, so you'll just get a blank. Oh no, it'll just be ignored. Right, okay. Maybe that's fine. The problem can be solved by... Well, it kind of contributes, doesn't it? Does it really? No, it doesn't really contribute in a lot of cases. I think this is fine. This problem can be solved by padding the input texture to power 2. An alternative solution is to pad the input texture as a multiple of 64 and handle the odd resolution cases manually for MIPS. Right, I think we're okay with just accepting that limitation. This would be cool. Right, so let's get the code for this. And start porting it over. So we might have to generate for different format types. Is this the old one, isn't it? 2.0 release. I think they've got a 2.2 now. Fidelity SDK, they put it all, yeah, here we go. They should just close the old repo. Been taking some medicine for my ulcer and gastritis. Oh. Not sure what that last one is. Mainly felt tired over the break, right? Ah. Hope you feel better soon. Yeah, my bladder's been feeling a bit weird lately too, so been a bit dealing with that as well. I think I got a bladder infection still. Oh. I went to the doctors and they prescribed me like some medication. I took it before and then it didn't really help, so they prescribed me a stronger one. They printed out 3 pages of all these downsides about it, and I was reading some of them. I was like, yeah, I do not want to risk this, so I basically just yeah, didn't take them. And single pass downsampler, right, here we go. Stomach has too much acid, right? Yeah, I think it's a bacterial infection. I don't know though. I had a small one. They did some tests. Too much acid, right? Do you need to drink more? Are you drinking too much acidic liquids? Do you need to drink more like alkaline stuff? Let's take a look into this. Right, so I think we need to download this. This contains... Oh. Right, maybe we'll just combine some stuff. Where's all the logic for it? FFX core, great. Can't they just make it a single header rather than just scattering code everywhere? Like everyone's just gonna download the whole damn thing. Where's that function declared? Just a wrapper. Right, this looks like some meaty file. Here we go, this is it. This is the code. Beautiful. Right, so it's going to be a bit difficult though. What does this thing? Does this include anything? Nope. Right, it includes the... Right, so this is how you use it. Right. This is how you use it. You declare your... Right. You declare these functions on how to like load an image and stuff like that. And then you just include their thing, which I guess is a single header. Right. Cool. And then you make your shader basically. Right. Let's see how this works. So let's download it. We'll probably need to have multiple versions. Yeah, so what we're going to do is take this and put it into... So I think first of all, before I forget, there's a... I got a page in the attribution. So AMD parallel sort, AMD single pass, MIT license. Cool. Just so I remember that. Yeah, so graphics, we'll dump it in here. Yeah, another file, but we'll call that AMD FX Downsampler. AMD Downsampler. Done. Yeah, so I guess we'll change this heavily, just so that it makes sense for this compiler, and then make it such that we can probably just declare a few defines, and it will generate everything. It won't be like this one where you'll change how you load stuff, maybe. Maybe not though. Hang on a minute. Yeah, there's that one. And there's this one. If half. Right. Interesting. So the reduce, you can define how you want to... Yeah, okay, that's good. So we can just have our own sort of like if-defs where we can say, hey, how do you want to filter when you downsample? This one will... Right, that stores to the... Yeah, I think we can declare a lot of these. How do you load from a texture? Yeah. All right, this can be easy. Cool, so if we go to AMD Downsampler, So we'll put our own bits and bobs up here, and the AMD stuff goes down there. So this would be our sort of like, yeah, something like that. Does single pass downsampler come with the shader code? Yeah. So on AMD's Fidelity FX SDK, it's in this file here. SPD is where it's got all the shader code. It runs on GLSL or HLSL, from what I understand. But so they basically use a whole ton of macros. So here, right, these are macros. So well, if it's GLSL or whatever, then switch between it. So we're going to just do our equivalent and get rid of the options, basically. So our one's going to be a lot more cleaner because it won't be having all these if diffs everywhere. So I should probably say just shader code edited, just in case there's a new version, which I don't think there will be. Maybe, right? If you're saying too much, you'll get all sorts of ailments. Prostate needs to have good workflow. Walking, jogging, good exercise helps. Way too much fast food and oily food, right. Instant noodles and soft drinks. Yeah, I went through a phase of having like 3 cans a day of soft drinks. So maybe some of that didn't help. Chronic illness, had ulcer 2 years ago. Cured it. Was in remission, then came back. Right. Yeah, those things happen, isn't it? Old habits. So recently, actually, I think I ordered it on the 26th of December. Great time to order yourself something. Or was it 24th? But yeah, I bought myself a treadmill. So I'm going to try and actually, because I work here, I've got a standing desk as well, but I don't stand because my knees hurt when I just stand still for too long. Because I used to play a lot of football, and I tried a bit too hard and busted my knees. So what I'm gonna do is, not all day, but I need to clear up the room a bit. But I can lean up against the wall when I'm not using it. Then when I want to use it, bring it down, stick it under the desk, and I can just be walking away while I'm programming. And it should help a lot because I find, so it means I'll not be like just getting into bed. I won't just be doing one thing for too long. I won't, problem with sitting down is it just feels so stressful when you think sometimes. When you're in this heavy thought thing, when you stand up and you walk, ideas just sort of come to you and stuff like that. So when I'll just be walking and typing on the computer, I think it should be a lot less stressful, and it should work well. I think I remember for the first person I saw doing this was Linus, and he was doing it back in he was doing it for such a long time before everyone else was doing it. It was just crazy. I remember seeing him doing it. Is that how weird? But now that I'm buying one, I think it's a great idea. Walking desks are good. Standing desks is second best, but they're good too. Yeah, I just can't work with a standing desk. Unfortunately, it's just my knees. But yeah, I hear people really like it. But yeah, when I'm walking, I don't have problems with my knees. It's just something about the motion and that it just makes it better. Walking after lunch and dinner for them, this is really great. Increases the serotonin levels. Right. Yeah, I used to go on a lot of good walks. kind of got a little bit discouraged since I moved to my new place because the walking isn't really as lovely as it was where I used to live. But also now I've got a son. My schedule is just packed. So yeah, there's that too. So that's awesome. I have a small treadmill. I can one under mine too. Helps a lot. Awesome. Hey Travis. It's good. Yeah, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be like, yeah, it's gonna be, the things gonna be like so much better. Just really looking forward to yeah, to giving it a go. Got like a big old mat for it and everything as well. So it doesn't sort of make too much noise. So it should be awesome. But yeah, how's the project going, Travis? Welcome, sir. How's your project going? Right, so I guess let's go through this code and just maybe see what we can do to get it working. I could just delete all the comments. That also helps me just sort of process things. CPU side dispatch group. So single part. So you might have to do a couple of compute shaders. One is a setup. Z is number of slices, right? Okay. Yeah, so thread group is 64 by 64, right? I don't know why, but there is no Z. Right, and this is also a CPU side thing, right? So, like, what am I even reading? So they do is like arrays. So these are by pointer. Right. Okay, I see what this is doing. We shall care about this later on. I'm just gonna delete it. Yeah, there's the internet. Where it is. So this is the and this just calls that function. Right, I'll just handwrite that some other way. Cool. We'll worry about that later. Non-packed version. What does it mean by packed? Is it about the half precision? I don't know what packed means. Didn't really say what packed meant. Math packed. Oh, it just seems like they're halves. Yeah, okay, it's just halves. So I don't know if we're concerned about. Well, the half one might come in handy, so I guess we can. We can at least write the code but not really test it. I'm not sure what it means by packed only. Avoid compile errors, right? So certain if you. Right, maybe it's in some other place. Hmm. And it seems like a lot of extra stuff, maybe. Right, let's just not support the packed version for now. Delete this code. If JSL is declared and we have not, right, so this is declaring the wave intrinsic support. We can get rid of that. That's putting in some barrier. So in HTC land, that is, yeah, dispatch group barrier. I think it's a memory barrier. I think we call it that. All right, control barrier, memory barrier, dispatch group. Memory barrier, dispatch group. Cool. All right, so just do that there, nice. So exit work group, we can just leave that alone by the looks of it. We'll have to declare some of these integers though, integer types. That'd be cool. I'm doing well, finally causing a massive refactor loop. How are things over there? Cool. Well, what have you been refactoring? Is it the graphics, your GPU API? Yeah, things are not going bad. Just decided to rewrite my renderer again. You know, same old, same old. I just got halfway through the material editor and I was like, well, I want to add support for multiple materials to my renderer, but my renderer was very buggy and it would need a rewrite before doing the model editor. So I was like, you know what, let's just get the rewrite out of the way. And in doing so, I'll add the multiple material support because it would have just been done anyway. So just biting the bullet a bit earlier. But yeah, so just in the process of doing this now and doing it all properly. AMD 5000 series will be announced CES 2025. Nah, I won't be buying. But yeah, the only time I'd ever buy one is if I had a game to release. I'm basically ripping out the entire assets as resource handling logic and replacing it with something more robust. Cool. Right. A lot of top deck resolution, etc. Cool. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's good to get that stuff right. So does that include like async loading as well? I assume it must do, right? Right, so reduce quad. So that's 2x2 obviously, right? So it does it with wave operations. So we have quad. Yeah, I should just include the HCC stuff up here. So I get all the lovely live HCC intrinsics. I don't know what's going on. Right, HCC wave intrinsics. I think that's all we need. Probably some atomics as well. And the texture intrinsics. Let's bring those in. Yeah, so quad. Why ain't it working? Go with that. Alright. Oh, it's up billion. What's going on? I think it's a CPU code, that's the issue. What is it called? The HMAS. There we go. Well, that solved the problem. But then I won't get the IntelliSense, I don't think. See how that goes. Yeah, I'm not sure I can get the IntelliSense by doing that either. Well, let's just not bother with it. Right, so in Wave Intrinsics is like a quad. Well, I had the IntelliSense working on my shader code. What am I doing there? Alright, I just include all the stuff anyway, right? I've got these in HCC anyway, isn't it? Standard this, standard that. So maybe... Whereas how doesn't that one... Line 12. Right, so those I think are in HCC.h. No, HCC and shader.h. That's right. Cool. Nice. So does this... Right, this helps. This is good. So quad read... Well, they ain't showing up any of those. Quad read thread. Alright. Not read thread, read across swap, that's it. Swap X, swap Y. I think it was swap diagonal and diagonal. Neat. Yeah, swapping vectors though. Cool. Then we do reduce. So we could type def all this, or I could just do a big old find and replace. I forget you do this in a... Is it like Vim? Find out. No. Is set up Jobify, that's next on list. Cool, cool, cool. After refactor, I heard Travis is going to work on the ECS system. Very nice. Nice. Yeah, I've ended up kind of writing an ECS as well. Kind of thing. Wrote the entire thing with async in mind, so once I confirm it all works, I can just Jobify it and be done. Awesome. Yeah, how did you find replacing Helix? How did you do it? Select all. Select with regex. Use the select key. I don't know, I've rebound everything, so probably just got rid of that now. Don't know which one it was. Right, so you select whole document. I don't know. Oh yeah, you could do the LSP thing, but LSP find and replace is not what I want. $S don't work anymore for me. Yeah, it doesn't work on my thing. Well, yeah, I guess I can just do it like this for now. Off we go. It's kind of a big document, isn't it? Completed it. Yeah, it's kind of built so you don't have to do this. But there you go. We could if-def at the top maybe, but I doubt they'll be getting any more upgrades anyway, so there's no point in caring about keeping around for upgradability. They're probably just going to leave the code alone. But you never know, they might release an update for it. Ugh. Why is Helix over near Vim? Well, clearly I hate myself. Well, no. So what happened was I used some extensions and they broke. My install when I updated the whole thing in Vim. Then I was like, screw this thing. I'm trying to find something where it's Vim, where I have all the sort of modal thing, but I want to try and not have this silly complicated config file, because that's how Vim ends up getting. And you know, it does solve that problem and it does a lot of things quite nice, but it really heavily leans on the language server protocol stuff, which I'm not really that much of a fan of, because when they say, hey, find and replace stuff, just use the language server protocol, but that doesn't usually get everything you want to get, um, especially when you're in a broken file like this one, right? Where it hasn't got all the defines in the right place and stuff like that. So it's kind of too smart sometimes. And yeah, I've rebound all my keys right now, and I haven't obviously figured out how to. I gotta find a solution for doing that find and replace thing. So I think if there was a substitute key, which I just basically rebound over, and I had to rebind everything because it's in the terminal, and I use a Cormac keyboard layout. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm using Helix. I do like it. I think it's a good alternative to Vim, and I would suggest it to people who don't really want to bother doing all the Vim complexity, of the making your own config file and using this extension and that extension. Yeah, so we can just delete all this code. Cool. So reduce intermediate, reduce load 4, so it just does 4 loads from an image, and then calls the reduce function. So the one thing you notice with this AMD thing is they keep calling all these other functions, and this just heavily inlines so much code. This gets crazy. All right, that's all right. Right, these ones I didn't see. Got some signed 32s for some reason. Who needs a signed in? It's giving me a lot of compile errors with this. I'll probably have to fix these anyway, actually, thinking about it. So this find and replace would have been a thing. Nearly there. Right. Oh, you switched to Comic because of me, right? How are you finding it? Do you play many video games on the PC? Because that's the biggest problem when you make the changes. Like, video games don't tend to be implemented well enough. How are you finding the Comic keyboard layout? All right, they're looking all right. Linear sampler. Right, that's an interesting take. Right, so yeah, I think we might have to do that. Let's get rid of that comment. Kind of trash. Is that an overload? Ew. Alright, I'll do with overloads as well because I don't support overloads. Alright, I'll come back to that. So that one's calling this one here. And there's one with like 4 parameters as well. Oh no, that's the user defined one. Thought about switching to it, but I want to be screwed when I have to use a QWERTY keyboard like some laptop. That is true. Yeah, I feel like I'm my granddad basically trying to type on the keyboard. When I try and use a QWERTY keyboard, I just look down and. Bit over a year now. As for games, I just muscle memory. The keys are okay. Oh, nice. But yeah, you just switch the keyboard layout back or something. Yep. That's what ends up being like. But to be honest, if you do it regularly enough, you won't have that problem. But that's the issue. You got to do it regularly enough. Right, so it's just 2-1. Oh, for crying out loud, why did they make it another function? Stupid ass thing. Right, let's fix their code. Can't believe people do this. If you're not using it as a function, don't make a damn function. Ugh. Alright, so they go across the Y first. Right. So then you get all this crap. And chuck it in here. Voila. Ta-da! No need for overloads. Right. Yeah, we're gonna get quite a few compile errors, I think. This is another one of those takes. So I think we'll get rid of that function call maybe. See if it's been used anywhere. No, it's not, of course. Right, so this is MIP 0 to 1, something like that. Right. So problem is there's a lot of... No, this is okay. It's scalar maths code, so it should be okay. That's not scalar maths code though. Yes, they're probably dealing with like negative numbers. That's why they've changed it to a signed or something. Yeah, these guys, unfortunately, what I've got to do is... make that be a scale. So this is the highest level, highest resolution to the second most, isn't it? Cool. This seems alright. So scalar code. Oh, this one isn't. Neat. Alright, so that's that function done. So the next one is going... Right. Dealing with intrinsics. Interesting. So how many of these do I need to port then? Oh, so if you do it with no wave operations, it does it through LDS memory. Right. Okay, so if it's doing it with wave operations then, It's doing 64 by 64, but then how will it? Right. Yeah, right. Let's port both of the code. No, they do it with No, let's not port the LDS one. Yeah, because we're not gonna need that, I don't think. Cool. Right, downsample MIP2. Oh, so this downsamples MIP 0 and 1 probably. Right, this one does MIP2. So we've defined no wave operations, so we can get rid of all that code. Yeah, that looks alright, so we'll scale the code, I think. Yep. Neat. So 3 no wave operations, get rid of that code. Yeah, it's really simplifying the code at least. Cool. Alright, next one. Another one of these molesses. MIP5. Right, nothing special going on there that he's changing. MIP6 and 7. All looks like scalar code to me. I don't know why then there's this if statement here, it's a bit weird. It's in 6 and 7 return. I guess, I don't know. See how it patches together at the end. Next 4. Right. Downsample 64. 64 tile based on the work. Okay. Yes, this is where it does the main kickoff basically. You pass in these parameters and it just passes them all the way through. Cool, so compute MIP level 0 and 1. Compute 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so they got this, they put it in there so they do the early return. Then if it's got less than 6 MIPS, go to exit. It increases the atomic counter. And then the last one, the last thread group, reset the atomic counter back to 0. Nice. So you don't have to reset it back to 0 in another shader. That's really cool. So I can initialize that once in my global memory. Right. And then the final thread group of 64 by 64 does this, I think. After 5, only single, yeah, work group. Good. Neat. Right, and this calls that. What's the difference between these two? MIPS, number of work groups, work group offset. Oh, it just does a bit of maths. Computes the yes, it's just some offset. Right, let's get rid of that crap. There's a packed version. We're just going to delete this. If we need it, we can add it later. I basically have to redo the. It's a whole re-implementation of the whole thing. Right, we just saw it all. It's the half version, isn't it? So we delete all that. So it's only like 300 lines. Right, see you later, Coffee Lover. Good to see you. And see you later there, Travis. Right, see you later, guys. See you in the future one. Thank you for popping by. Okay, that's really cool. Awesome. So see what else we can get rid of, basically. So let's look for FFX. Right, there's no more FFX things. Well, I thought there was that right, SPD. Alright, it's just that one. Cool. Rightio. So there's our single pass downsampler. We've still just got a right, why doesn't that memory barrier? Weird. Don't want to say can't find it. Probably because it says if HTC is declared or not. That's cool. It's cool. Right. So now we'll put all the user defined functions in. So we'll find these in this implementation here. Let's take all of this and basically delete all the half stuff and all that. So right, so we can get rid of that. If option linear sample, turn on linear sample. So I wonder if the wave intrinsics needs a by default we'll use wave operations. Right, so just share it. Right, that's good. Get rid of that. Cool, so we need to declare our dispatch group memory, so it's thread group memory in HLSump. And the SPD counter. So it's just that global counter. Alright, is this the half stuff? If def half, right, excellent. So we take all this and just delete it. Neat. See, I wonder where... Engine GPU.h, maybe I'll just include that. Sorry, what was it? It's shader code in it. HMS types and stuff. Right, which ones don't we definitely not need in here? Any two things to do with the UI. Graphics shared. That'll work out. Cool, 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 cool. So increase atomic counter. I think this is one of those built-in. So yeah, I think they've just done it. It's a bit weird. So I think they've got this sort of core thing. FX core. Right. So in here, I think they've got the increase. Right. So obviously they've got a core GLSL. Or HSL we'll look at because mine's probably more similar to. Right, so I can't really see where that is declared then. Common types, core CPU, common GPU. Maybe it's in there. Weird. Right, so we're better off just sort of downloading the whole damn thing and just searching the code on the computer, you know. Let's try that one out. Hopefully it's not that big. And we just grep for where it is and just see what the implementation is. It's probably just atomic add. But yeah, it's just better if it was all just in one header file. Increase atomic counter. It's fine. Oh shoot. There we go. So we're looking for. It's actually defined in a few places. So single pass downsampler.h actually declares it. It declares it. This file here. Right, no, it's a slightly different one. Right, callbacks. Slice in, and then an in out. Right, let's open that one up. Right, interlocked add. Yeah, but didn't it say it passes in the slice? It's not that one. The 2-parameter one. Here we go. Right, so you have a few counters, one for each slice in this case. Interesting. One for each slice, say. Well, we haven't really got texture slices. Right, it's interesting. Callbacks. So it supports up to 6 slices then? Right, because they do a cube map basically. Right, interesting. Right, I see what's going on. So they only really support the slices for so you can do cube maps. Right, I think I'm gonna actually need that anyway. So we might as well support it because I've got some environment maps, right? And I have a custom downsampler for that. We can just nuke that one and just use this, and it'll be quicker. Right. So when we see this, yeah, I don't see much of this, right? I don't know why they made this. Oh, sorry, they made it for the interoperability between GLSL and HLSL. Right, so we're going to need to declare some form of global somewhere. So I think we'll put it in the global buffer. So then what we can do is just say add, I think it's called atomic add E32. Take the address of graphics global, and it will just be called downsampler counters. We'll pass in the slice like that. Neat. Then you pass in the SPD counter. I think that's what they were doing. I said in out. Right, the out parameter is the old counter. So you increment by 1, and then you store, because HSL works a bit differently to mine. Yeah, the old counter gets put into there. That's the way they do it. Yeah, so they don't have a return parameter on atomic add. Sorry, instalocked add in HSL. They technically return it out from here. In the final parameter. You know why it's just not an out variable then? Right, so in the global we'll put that in there. So in so we'll call it downsampler counters. So we'll probably just say downsampler slices cap. So we'll only support up to 6, I guess. Keep map. Nice. Cool. So that's in there. Good to see. Guess got to include the graphics shared now. Internal shared. Right, this is not declared anywhere, is it? This, shoot. Is that declared in shaders.h? Right. Let's nick this. Move it to... Right, that's good. Alright, it does exist though. I guess we'll leave it that it does exist. I don't know why these things are being weird. Get atomic counter. Alright, just returns that. Cool. Reset atomic counter. Right, so we just set it to 0. Right, I guess we'll use the atomic store. Just in case. Graphics global. Downsampler. Counters slice. 0. Not very good that these errors are popping up all the place. Maybe in shaders we just save you're in... No? Oh, but these aren't even... Right, these are still not... Well, are these able to work? Weird. Oh, well, let's keep going. Cool, so they also declared some LDS memory here for this intermediate stuff. They're float 32s. RGBA. Right, where's load source image? Oh, where are both of these things? So it's in the callbacks stuff. Right, sample level, input downsample texture. Right, so I think this is where we're going to end up passing the actual resource around, or the integer for it, at least. But I think a lot of this stuff can actually be passed in via the constants. See, I think a lot of that's got to be passed around via the push constants. Right. Okay, I see what's going on. Rightio. So we might have to actually make a structure here for the single pass downsampler bundle constants. So let's just get passed up from the CPU side directly into the shader. I think we'll have enough. So the problem is though, is I think we'll just start off with a HCC texture 2D. But it's got a specific format. So you know, the one we want to be doing is 32 float. Just be the texture. And bear in mind, it's got to be like a read only or write only, isn't it? So this should be a read write. There we go. So this is actually the texture we are planning on changing. So this will get passed around. There might be some other things as well. So I think we'll pass around this whole thing into functions where they need it. I remember getting that working in the compiler, I think. So sample source image. Or it's the UV, is it? Or the texel. Interesting. Sweet. Radio. So we've got to port these over. So the thing is, right, if we're going to keep calling this stuff, so we can get this working for like one texture format, but if we got to include this thing again for different formats, we're going to have to maybe have different names for some of these functions, because we compile all of our shader code into one binary. So yeah, something to think about. How we're going to do that. Maybe we'll be able to combine a lot of this stuff. Maybe I can reduce it down, manually inline a lot of it, so there's a fewer functions to have different names for or something like this. Because a lot of this indirection is here for different features, but also different shading languages, which we do not have to worry about supporting. So yeah. Right, so it takes the UV, scales it by the inverse input size. Oh my days. Right, that just comes. So So that's obviously 1 divided by. Right. Right, well we need a linear, right, do we want to support linear sampled? The whole point of a downsample is that, well, okay, you might want to. Maybe. Here's load source image would be. Yeah, maybe we won't support the linear sampled version. Yeah, I think we should just do a load. Let's not do this one. Right, so the load source image, that will be, so we'll take in that single pass downsampler bundle constants. So we'll say load texture. So for now, I got to do this sort of thing. I got the well, I got the G on the end, so I can got it done in a generic way. Maybe texture. Then the they go from a U30. So text.xy, text yep, and slice. Then we need an explicit mip, isn't it? I don't think you need that on a load texture. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Cool, so I guess we can get rid of that. So ultimately this can just go into there like that. Done. SPD bundle constants. Right. Very nice. Alright. So load mid mip. Where does that come from? What the hell's a mid mip? I guess we've got to search the CPU code for that. If it sounds like it's just the one in the middle. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll look for that. Where do they set this? UAV1 by binding mid mip. So I guess we'll look for this constant here. Hey Alex, how's it going? What are plans for 2025 with the game? So the plans are sort out the renderer and the editors. So effectively have graphics in a good place and content for the graphics. Be able to make some very programmer art. You know, just build like a nice floor, build like some buildings, and maybe some player models as well, if all goes well. So have the renderer just in a much better place with the ability to make content in the editors. So that would be materials. It'd be materials, making models, and making a level. So those three editors. Maybe the ability to hopefully have custom textures as well on the materials rather than, or maybe some built-in ones that you get to tweak parameters for, or something like this. Just got to figure out exactly what I want to do. And hopefully some animation. That might come a bit later on though. So animation for the players, maybe 2. So we should have ideally like, so for the next year, that's when I want to try and maybe figure out, right, what game do I want to build given the technology that we've got here, and what sort of time scale do I want to build this project in, type of thing, and really plan out like the next phases. So yeah, that's the plan for the game this year. Yeah. I still don't know where this thing is declared. Because it's that's the binding. So it's got binding 2001. So where did they do the upload for it? See, I wonder what other. So I guess when I search through the files, single pass, downsampler, backends. Render module, eh? Oh, look, it was CPP. Hey, Katamoy, let's say you made a great game. Are you ready to launch demo on Steam? How you market it? Ooh. Yeah, I don't know yet. That'll be part of the plan to figure out what to do, because either probably should aim to try and make a bit of a smaller game, to be honest. And then I should figure out like, yeah, I heard a lot of advice where if you're doing the whole publishing that yourself, you should get that Steam page up and running as early as possible, accumulate wish lists and things. But yeah, that'll be a whole thing to look into, because it's like, how big of a team does it need to grow to build said game? And how do I achieve such thing? So I need to look at all the options, and that's all got to fit into the game idea. Sounds cool. I finally read your game design document. It was great to read. I was watching all your streams. Cool. Yeah, that's sort of what I would like to do if I did like a bigger game. So yeah, definitely like a larger team. But yeah, it doesn't need to be like too big though. I'm only thinking maybe about probably about 10 people or something at most. But I think but yeah, Just gotta see where I'm at after the end of this year, really. Um, yeah, and also how it fits in with my current job and things like that, because I work for another studio at the moment, so I have to sort of make sure things will be above board there, and also how do I complete this if I was doing this at the same time in my spare time? You know, lots of sort of figuring stuff out. And also like funding wise as well, where does that come from if I need to have help? Um, do I set up deals with people and we take some form of share at the end? Or do we, do I somehow get some external funding and pay for people because I cannot take my funding and get you know, obviously work to earn a wage, and I cannot obviously pay someone else's wage with my wage. So there's that. Hi Don Ho, get some cringe in your code. Yeah, perhaps. It's been a while since I've seen Don. Does Don still stream? I better get time to check out Twitch, to be fair. Create root signature. This is like there is some form of single pass downsampler stuff. So I think search for the mid. No. Well, so let's search for the descriptor. What do you get? No, nothing. Why do they make the code so sparse? It's all over the place. This is my one gripe with this AMD open source stuff. It's like they make it available, but it's just absolute bugger to figure out where it all is. So mid MIP, let's look for source mid for the whole code base. Oh, there's a CPP one. This looks like it's it. Gotcha. Right, found it. UAV resources online. What a name. Yeah, I hope he gets better soon. That's awesome. Yeah. Does he still do game development? Because I remember last time seeing him, he ended up doing embedded stuff. Man, we're so damn tired. Right, so what is this doing? So it gets the current resource. A MIP6. Right, so it's actually the middle one. So it's MIP6. Wait, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. It's glass? No way, it's glass. How you doing, Glass? Back on the grind of games. Awesome, I knew it won't be off for too long. Burn out, sorting out ideas and stuff. That's cool. I understand. Yeah. How's it going, Glass, sir? Right, so what is this code doing? So UAV resource. Scheduled it. So every time it tries to schedule dispatch. it goes over all the resources and binds them basically. So, right, so it tells you like what MIP level they're at and everything like that. So it gets the, yeah, so it's just MIP 6. Okay, okay. So this one will do whatever the MIP level is based on the bind entry, and it's able to work that out. Okay. Cool, so I think that's just another one we pass, you know, mid. All right, got me some ideas. So whenever I was trying to do sort of mid. Why is it loading from the mid? MIP when it just does SPD load? It's a bit bizarre to me. Strange. Oh, I didn't realize this thing would be so damn complicated. Hmm. Yeah, so I guess we'll just do a... So we need to pass in all the different MIP levels, so that's the thing, right? Right, I remember how it works now. Yeah. Right, I know exactly how this works. Right, so if you've got up to 12 MIP levels, right, the source image is the base resolution, right? And it down samples 64 pixels at a time, down to 1 by 1, right, just down to 1 pixel. So whenever you do a load, which is basically not loading from the source image, what it's doing is it only needs to use the one from MIP 6, right? That's all it's doing. Great. So in terms of the two ones that we read from, yeah, so I'm wondering about the storing, how it stores out. Because it's got to store out to all the different MIP levels. Store mid MIP. Store source. Yeah, so you got a different... Okay. So what we need, right, is just an array of read writes for all of the MIPs. So there'll be a max number of MIPs, which would be 12. So I guess we can just put that in... maximum number of MIPs is 12. So it took a bit to grasp that code that was going on, but I get it now. So I need a MIP. Nice. So that should be fine because we sort of pull up to 64. That'll be great. Yeah. Hey Taylor, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, sir. How are you doing today? Happy New Year. And Happy New Year, Glass. He's getting back into it. Eventually, he's happy immensely and doing a lot better with his new job and stuff. Cool, awesome. Doing good, busy year, new job proposed. Congratulations. Same for house. 2025 is going to be busy. How's the wife and little one? Yeah, they're amazing. Best thing, you know. So good. Yeah, I didn't know what it's like to have a child, and then when you have one, it's just the best thing. You know, when I see him have a bad day, go downstairs and he's there, and it's really lights up the day, and it's just so much fun. Yeah. So they're doing great. They're just trying to navigate, you know, navigate a lot of things, you know, working, spend time with family, this project, and, you know, trying to figure out how we're going to save money for, you know, things in the future. And so what was nice about this break I've had for 2 weeks, I've sort of spent time just thinking about things that had not been work and not really been this project here. I really spent a lot of time just thinking about this project as much as I thought I would have been off on my holiday. Just thinking about just life stuff, you know, about how we're going to save some money for things in the future, and you know, what we're saving for, and yeah, just thinking a lot about just yeah, also in the future, just you know, about schooling for our child and things. Yeah, just doing a whole lot of sort of thinking about life. So it's been good. You're doing well. Awesome, good to hear. Are you guys going back to work soon? I'm going back to work on Monday, so it's going to be interesting. Something for me and Beth will experience the next few years. Awesome, that'd be great, man. That'd be cool. Well, I'm glad you're getting married first. That's a good sign. You know, because you really mean it and it's serious, and it's cool. It's the way we did it too. Are you gonna be are you moving in with each other after that? Nah, not really saving for my own studio or something like that. You know, the game dev business is kind of risky. I would like to get to a point where, yeah, next year I'll figure out what I want to do with this project and plan out like a roadmap on like what I would ideally like to do and how I would achieve that, and then try and sort of figure out how to and in that year we'll be trying to figure out how do I nail it or nail that plan, like guarantee that plan. So be, you know, figuring out all that stuff. Yeah, plan for the game, plan for how do I fund it, how big does the team need to be, type of thing. And that'll be the year of figuring that out and also securing it as much as possible. What else? Just saving for just general stuff, you know. Things are expensive these days. UK is kind of going down the toilet. You know, got to save for probably like a new car at some point. Got to save for probably going on a holiday at some point. Get some new sofas because we kind of just got some temporary sofas for now, but they're kind of really nice temporary sofas, not gonna lie. My dad kind of gave them to me. Just lots of little bits, you know. But also my wife will be going down to 3 days a week. She currently works 5 days, but you know, she wants to spend more time with the boy, which is understandable. So we're going to be, so we've got to So I'm saving an initial pot of money as well, just uh, just to be sure. Like we've been doing the maths and calculating like based on what we spend and how much we save currently, and we can scale down, which is great. Just our saving, the amount that the rate at which we accumulate savings will just go down. But eventually, though, it would be nice if my wife would just not have to work basically and look after the children. That would be pretty nice. And my dream would be that she'll basically homeschool the children and look after them. You know, because I think it's probably the best approach for just everything. Like it's just there's just so much potential when you homeschool a child, and you know all the resources are available just to teach your own children, and you just get such a great experience spending it with them every day, I think. But I just got to try and convince her to see what I'm seeing. Um, she's not really as over enthusiastic as I am about it. So it just takes some time. We've got like 3 years till we need to make a decision anyway. So called it nice and early. Music went. Something about Monday too. Oh, you're working today, Taylor. Nice. Ross gave us some free holidays. Awesome. Yeah, we got a few like free holidays over Christmas too, but I had to book a few more just to finish the week off. So date for 3 months, 6 months moving together. Cool. A year later, living together. Moving to my parents to save money. Good idea. For a house. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Amazing. Are you just saving up for like was it 5 or 10% on the down payment? Been together for a while, 2 years in March. Awesome. That's great. Seems like you found someone, that you really like. That's really. I'm happy for you. Yeah, I'm gonna pay increase. If we get pay increase again because HMRC loves us UK tax would destroy us if she worked full time. Yeah, see, that's my problem, isn't it, as well? It's only the government is like they don't increase it past 50k, let alone the. It's so appalling. So you get taxed 40% after 50k. You do get a bit of a buffer because of like student loan debt and what's the other one? Pension, right? Those come out before tax, so you could probably earn a little bit more than 50k, and you won't get taxed 40%. But yeah, it's real crap at the moment. So they'll need for her to work either part time or not at all. Otherwise, income will. Yeah, it's very true. Or maybe after it depends on how much down payment you put on your house, but we didn't really manage to put a big down payment on. I think ours was 10%. Um, so if you put down more, your monthly cost goes down. So technically, if you're able to, but after the first 5 years or maybe even next 10 years, you get to sort of remortgage the house, and maybe you might be able to remortgage it for less, and the cost will go down because you've already paid money into the house. So you have to borrow less next time. So maybe with those factors at play, you could maybe afford for your partner to work less. Homeschooling can be ways better in terms of school. What are your thoughts on social exposure? So, yeah, see, that's the thing. Is like, in terms of like the reason why, one of my biggest reasons for it is, you got 30 children in a classroom for like one teacher, And if you just have like a parent that just dedicates a little bit of time in a day, they could really like teach their children a lot in a very small space of time and just tailor it towards the child. So you don't even have to do like full days as well. And I just think the quality would just be far better. But if you want, if you know, and the children can also just start learning by themselves as well over time when you get a system going. And they can teach each other as well. It just is very, it's just fun as well. Just to spend time with your family and build your family and be a team. That's why I like it. But in terms of your socializing, so things about socializing with children, right? You're basically a bunch of noobs at socializing. So what do? You go around and speak to other noobs throughout the day, and you don't really develop a social skill. Um, like, look around at, I don't know, you live in America, so it's probably different. People in America are very confident. In the UK, it's not so much. Um, if you look, at least if I look around my peers, there's not too many confident people actually that come out of the school system. So in terms of like social social exposure, they'll be getting it at least with us as a family, and they'll be getting people who have at least developed some level of socializing. But also they'll still get some exposure, you still take them to like clubs where they play sports with other kids. You still take them to play out, all this will play outside, right, in the local neighborhood with other kids and stuff like that. So they'll still get some exposure. It's just they won't get the lunchtime or break time every day. They might get it after school every day, or so it's still there. But the best thing is I think, and there's another factor as well, is some children when they go to school, they just get exposure to just so much like bad stuff. And if it's just sort of, there's tons of bullying that goes on, tons of like just sinful and heinous stuff that happens in school. And that kind of just gets, you don't have to try and unteach your children a lot of things. So, it's just so, I think there's just so many benefits to it. And I just it's one of my big things I've been thinking about over the past few days. Really. Yeah. But children do go through the school system and end up good. There's some really like, some children it just works out so well. But yeah. I think my max is about 300k for house, fair play. Yeah, ours is about 380. We managed to, yeah. And then but house is looking at is about 250k. We're hoping for something like 20k deposit, or if not more. Yeah. For us, it's more a point if we're near family and near Welsh speaking school, since it's really important for our kids to learn to speak Welsh. Oh, nice. That's really cool. Right. Yeah, ours is for a 3-bed. 3-bed, it's about 380k. If you wanted to get like a 4-bed or a 5-bed, they're like $500,000 housing prices these days. And then like, if you was to, this is what made us sort of just jump in, even though we only had a base deposit of like 10%, is because if you was to try and rent the same thing, it would cost the same as the monthly payments. So you get a lot of people on the internet who are just like, oh yeah, never own a house because like, or never buy a house with like such a small percentage. But because you'll be paying so much money back on the amount. I think the amount we have to pay back is like, if we stay on this current one at the same rate or whatever, it's like 800k in the end we'll have to pay back. It's like 2.36 For every pound we pay £2.36 or whatever it is, something like that. I forget the exact maths. But if we just paid the mortgage, what was it? Yeah, you know, we might as well just contribute to actually paying off a mortgage rather than just like paying someone else's mortgage, by renting their house. So, yeah, you really got to look at like before you take advice from people, how it is locally to you. That is very true. Um, the houses we're looking at are 1.5 mil. Wow. What state do you live in, Taylor? Three bedrooms are minimum. Yeah, definitely. Especially got a child. Like you can obviously, like people obviously work with less in very desperate times, but to be comfortable, three minimum. Um, I think we estimated 1.2 a month. Yeah, that's quite cheap. Yeah, 40-year long. Yeah, see, that's what they're doing. They're getting like really long now. Ours is, if we keep going, it'd be 35 years, but I'm hoping we can get it down. Um, there's ways I'm hoping we can accumulate some extra funds and maybe just take some money off it as we go. We'll see. Maybe I may get to make a side business, making a game or something, and maybe that helps out. We'll see. Near Seattle, Washington, Microsoft Town, right. Yeah, it's crazy monies. Yeah, housing in the US in some states is just ridiculous. What sort of, how many bedrooms is that 1.5 mil house? Just bananas. Wait, we only need two MIPS. Oh yeah, but we write back to odd ones. And to the other ones. Yeah, that's it. I know. And it'd be 6. This code is going to be far more readable than the one that supports all the platforms. 3-4 bed, I think. Wow. It's crazy. Yeah, your money is like also a little bit more, or it's a little bit more lower in value, whatever that means. So yeah, you're but it used to be like real. There used to be a big difference. There was a time I remember when it was every pound would get you $2, but now it's kind of gone the other way around, where it's really good for you guys, really strong for you guys. I think it's for every pound is 1.2. I remember that was last checking. 1 GPP, 2 USD, not USB. To 1 universal serial bus. Yeah, 1.25. Right. Okay. As I've seen in the US, are really cheaply made but expensive. Yeah, you guys make it like wood and stuff. Well, okay, yeah. Taylor's country, US, they make it like wood, isn't it? Whereas we make it like bricks. But I don't know, like still though, the house is actually kind of cheap to make. Like if you to build your own home, it's actually like really cheap. They just make quite a big profit on it, and the land is valuable, isn't it? Mm. Um, like a lot of houses here in the UK are hard brick and sturdy, but a lot of plywood, OSB, and plasterboard. But new builds in the UK now cheaply built, essentially in southern Wales, right. A lot of plywood. Right. Interesting. Right. So I think what's left to do is we've got to sort out some of these functions here. And then... Oh, wait a minute. These ain't going to be too hard to do. We figured out what they are now. Store. Yes, so storing a particular MIP. Easy. If MIP5 store mid. No, I just need one line. That can go. But yeah, they did it for like cross-platform stuff. Done. Wait, PX. Because, I don't know, someone else decided to write this code, I guess. So inconsistent. And the value for... Nice. No return there. Intermediate. Yay. Store intermediate. Yay. Right, this is a cool thing. You might want to have a downsample, min or max op. I forgot what we need for depth. Yeah, we'll keep that around. But yeah, I think what we've got to do is like, we might take a few of these functions, like maybe just the load and store op. I think we'll make like a load function or whatever and a store function that loads and stores a specific MIP. And then every time we include this header file, we can redeclare a function that does that, or a macro that does that. And then, yeah, we should be able to re-include everything. The problem is I've got to make it work with a single shader binary. So we might either make these functions renameable or make them very core and common. Oh wait, no, we can't because yeah. So this is with the macro, doesn't it? Yeah, so maybe we just inline everything, or we have to paste something on the end of these function names. Yeah, that's what we'll have to do. All right. Okay, this is going along all right. This was a big pain to figure out what some of these things end up remapping to in the shading languages. I wanted to get rid of that line. I'll do the linear sample thing for now. But yeah, so all in all, it might be about 400 lines of code. Shader code. Cool. In Holmes Island, 10 years here, hard and steady. Anything less is 10 years risky, right? All neighbors here are mostly taken by my generation who just want a home, but don't care about the reliability of its architecture. Cool. I'm 26, so that'll give you a good indicator of what my generation is, right? You're a Gen Z, like me, kind of. I'm on the boundary of Gen Z and millennial. Yeah, I'll be 30. coming up to 30 soon. Right. I'll next be on Sunday at 6 p.m. GMT +1, where I guess we'll try and get this single pass downsampler done. Bit of a sidetrack, to be honest, from the occlusion buffer stuff. I might rename this stream when I put it up on YouTube. But yeah, this will be cool because it'll be a nice optimized downsampler we can just reuse. It's just getting it, just massaging the code into place is the bit of the bugger, but it's coming together. Nice. I found an old game idea I made like 10 years ago, but never made it. Neat. I'll look at that. Revelatus, the story of a father between two worlds, picking up lost memories of his past. Each world reveals a piece of the puzzle. Oh, this is cool. Right, look at you, such a family man. From 10 years ago as well. So yes, like a little puzzle game. That's cool. Yeah, puzzle games are quite popular ones to do in the indie space, isn't it? Nice. You should do it. You should do it, Glass. Awesome. Very cool. Alright, see if I can find someone to raid. If the world around him becomes more fractured, more cracks in the architecture. The palette gets darker. Awesome. Right, so the art changes a bit. Amazing. Mr. Holtzy. It's been a while since he's been streaming. Artie. It's right, Artie. So I know to so did I just see Odin? But yeah, good to see you all. Good to see you all. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll catch you all in future one. I'm gonna go try and get some sleep. I'm so tired. Alright, catch you later. Bye bye.